ready for the beautiful day over at the Sydney Harbour. We are here with day number 1 of one of the biggest of events of the qualifiers that we've got here for the DreamHack Masters Fall. It is, of course, our Oceania Rest of Asia qualifiers. I am, of course, your host, the Imitation Innovation Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today is la señal visual de quien devolverá los libros antes de su vencimiento, like _VIP. How you doing, mate?
I don't think the stream was ready. Well, what's up, mate? We're here. We are finally here with the DreamHack Oceania qualifiers, mates. It's been so long. We've been waiting for this the entire week. Oh boy, and what a bracket as well. Feels bad, man. Yeah. Like what a round 1 match as well. The people don't know yet, but it's gonna be insane.
It really is. We are starting things off, of course, going to be following one of our very own Ducklings here as we start off our bracket, but against, I don't want to call him his arch rival, but definitely, I guess straight up, his arch rival over in that Brisbane area.
Yeah, exactly.
They have had many close matches before, most recently the ANZ Champs, where it went all the way to the ace match, 3 super close games in a row. We're kicking things off with Azure versus Oreo.
Yep, it's on the screen right now, and we were, oh god. We were talking about how Oreo and Azure, for those who didn't watch ANZ Champs, they are both living in the land of Brisbane. They do have a rivalry between each other, and oh my god, like, they have gone back and forth in series. Most recently, they played against each other in ANZ Champs, and Oreo was the only player to beat Azure in the group stage. But despite that, it was still very close between the two of them. Went all the way to the ace match.
It really did, and man, I just can't wait to see what we're gonna have here in the qualifiers. Obviously, again, we do have a single elimination bracket set up, and there is gonna be a day 2 of open qualifiers, but keep in mind, only 3 players will qualify from the open qualifiers to the closed qualifiers, as Pez already got a seat to the closed qualifiers, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Because of Pez's performance in ANZ Champs, he got the seed directly to the closed qualifiers. That is why he is no longer there. He isn't available there. Meanwhile, oh boy, just quickly trying to make sure.
I'm just, yeah. Scenes are gotten in. Make sure that the players are aware as they do their vetoes to invite us in.
Yeah.
I'm just trying my best not to look at chat right now, like.
Oh god. You went all out, mate. I'm impressed. Despite having a headset, you made the hat work.
Yeah, it's actually like barely on. That's why I have to like.
We have a lot going on here on the set. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but in my mind anyway, my probe with my duck and my ling with my duck, this is Starduck and Oreo.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, you're gonna try your best to balance that duck on your head. Wish you the best there.
He's a good boy.
Yeah,
much like Starduck.
That's the thing, right? Like, exclamation mark B in the chat, people, if you want to have a look at the brackets, because honestly, Starduck, mate, he has a pretty easy road for the first couple of rounds.
Yeah. As he should, I feel like any path would be easy for the best Australian Protoss player. No, but for real though, he is going up a lot of, I guess you could call them semi-professionals as opposed to the really big names that we expect from the region. Obviously, a lot of them were already seen into other rounds, but yeah, I feel like the biggest challenge for Starduck will only really come from the qualifying match where he faces potentially Chappie or Piglet, maybe Dash as well.
Yeah,
I think those are the big favorites to make it.
And the other big thing, oh boy. The other, as we get invited.
Right, okay, the other big thing, I like to imagine you were looking at Ducky as you said that, and you were like, that's a big duck.
Oh god, I was just invited. I was just invited to a lobby, and then I'm gonna have to remake it.
Oh, that's balance test.
Yeah, I was like, what? That is not WCS Game Hard. But another big name here in today's brackets. That's I think they go by another name on the bracket. Mate, King Kong is back.
Oh yeah, one of the original Kiwis, if I'm not mistaken. He was a player from before my time, actually.
Not a Kiwi. He was a Korean player. Korean player living in Australia, and in his time maybe New Zealand. In his time, because he was studying here. Afterwards, he did go back to Korea, I believe. God damn it. But King Kong was a dominant player in the region. This was back in the day of Aegis and Petraeus, and King Kong was by far the best player in our region, consistently the number one.
Absolutely. It's really great to see him back once again. Maybe he just moved back, I suppose?
Yeah. I had heard rumblings at the beginning of the year that King Kong was returning to Australia, and that he was returning to competition, and he was laddering, and I was like, what? Really? And here he is. Is he in form? Hard to say. I know there's a lot of the players are speculating about him right now as to what his skill level is looking like. But yeah, he's definitely, a blast from the past.
Yeah. Among a couple others, well, I guess that is kind of the narrative that we have for the ANZ scene and the OCE scene overall. Especially because of ANZ champs, just so many players have returned. King Kong probably didn't move from Korea to Australia because of that, but it's just great to see returning players overall. But speaking of returning players, we are going to be returning to players who we actually see a lot of, recurring, I suppose is a better name for them, on 2000 Atmospheres LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the blue Zerg player coming down from the land of Brisbane. He is officially the king of Brisbane. That has been decided many weeks ago, funnily enough. But now he's got a little bit of competition for that title. Representing our very own CranKy Ducklings, he is Oreo.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Australian Terran player. He is one of the Brisbane boys, was recently dethroned as the king of Brisbane, but he is representing Team Opus V. It is Azure.
I hope he has, props prepared here. Because I remember back in ANZ champs before that fateful matchup, he was tweeting out yeah, I'm gonna crush this packet of Oreos in preparation or whatnot.
Exactly.
Didn't exactly pan out for him, but maybe this is his time.
Yeah, Azure, he was infamous in ANZ champs for his ceremonies. They were very fun. They included sunglasses, masks. He even printed out Azure greater than Crimson and stuff like that. It was good stuff.
But of course, my favorite ones were from Oreo himself. We actually caught a couple of gifts on them over at !Discord in the chat. You can see just how hype he got after winning his games.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. Oh boy, and now here we are. Honestly, this is awful. For those wondering, Oreo, he was like, what the hell? They didn't see the bracket. We checked. They did, off of EPT points. Fun fact, Starduck actually got a good seeding because he plays a lot in ESL Open Cup Asia.
There we go. ESL Open Cup Asia, every now and then ESL Open Cup America.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, every other player in the region.
Exactly. There's a reason to play in the weekly tournaments because they do give you better seeding when it comes to the qualifiers for DreamHack. So that is why Starduck, honestly, he has a pretty easy couple of rounds of the brackets. His first real opponent will probably be Quantel in 2 rounds. So that's going to be a PvP. Again, a matchup that Starduck loves.
One of the few players who does.
Exactly. But here we are in this TVZ, and oh boy, I'm really worried for our boy Starduck, especially because we haven't been able to talk much about the tournament itself, but the qualifier itself, but it is single elimination. You got one chance, and that's it, mate.
Yeah, it's been real cutthroat in all the qualifiers that we've casted so far. We've covered. They're all single elimination, but doubly so for the OCE region, because I don't know how many times this could be overstated. The second qualifier, day number 2, has only 1 spot remaining.
It's ridiculous, man.
Two.
Yeah, it's, oh my god. It's gonna be so brutal. Like to begin with, the qualifiers are brutal as it is, and even more so now that there's only 1 spot left in that second qualifier. So it is a shame that one of these 2 players, mate, they only get 1 round, and that is it today. One of them will be eliminated.
Yeah. In a perfect world, they both make it to qualifying matches on opposite sides, and in the perfect world, Oreo and Starduck make it to opposite sides of the qualifiers and make it out, and then Azure qualifies on that day.
Oh god, that is the perfect world, mate, but we'll see if that's the world we live in. At the moment, Azure, he's committing a lot to these Hellions. Not just that, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he's going for a drop at the same time.
Here he is. Classic multi-pro that we like to see from Azure.
Yeah, exactly. Again, a very interesting opener, right? Because he did open up with a 1-1-1, but he did prioritize that medevac. So again, these Marines, they are stimulus, but he's going to be trying to hit at 2 places at once. The Queens are ready at the third to deal with the Hellions, but there's nothing here in the main.
Absolutely nothing. Even a little bit of creep missing here. There's no vision in the Marines just yet, but Oreo does have a little bit of a whiff of what's to come. Thanks to that Overlord.
Yeah, exactly, but these Lings are not enough. A couple more Lings do show up, and there we go. Azure does pick up. He does back off. The Hellions dive in, but the Queens, they did not move. They are still here at the third.
Azure's still gonna risk trying to get some drones, though, and he does get some very juicy connections. 8 drones already getting taken out. Oreo's still ahead on the workers, but whatever Azure can really do to keep Oreo back is gonna benefit him a lot more as he just works towards his stim, his upgrades, and his eventual timing push.
Oh yeah, exactly. That was honestly some juicy connections there in that mineral line. 8 drones going down. Meanwhile, he's pushing on forward again, and at the same time, Liberator sieges up at the natural base.
More drones are going to be going down. The target firing on the Queens is very ideal.
Oh my god, where are...
Queen left with transfuse energy.
Yeah, unfortunately... Yeah, I was like, where are the Lings? The Lings actually went back to deal with the Liberator. Unfortunately, they were not here to back up those Queens. Thankfully, yeah, I think he accidentally used the wrong hotkey there, but in the end, the Queens did hold on, and the Liberator doesn't get too much damage, but there was a lot of lost mining time there.
There was. Might actually get a Queen this time as well.
Oh.
It's working up. Burrow in time. The Liberator will at least be dealt with, but not before quite a lot of damage is done.
Already 12 drones have gone down this game. All in all, Oreo has done a decent job when it comes to defending his bases, but again, he has still sustained losses.
In spite of that, though, I want to point out that Oreo's at 69 workers right now.
Oh yeah, nice.
He has more than enough for a mid-game Zerg player right now. He can just chill, tech up to his heart's content, because he's not going to be worrying about minerals for a long time.
Yeah, thankfully, Oreo hasn't stopped taking up, right? He threw down his double Evo chambers, is working on 1-1. Lair has finished up so he can work on bailing speed, and there is that 4th base. Unfortunately, there isn't too much creep here surrounding this base, and Azure knows that he's rotating his entire army over to deal with this 4th.
That he is. Or has no defenses ready just yet.
Yeah, I'm honestly really concerned. Finally, Oreo gets some eyes on this. There we go. He does respond to it with his entire army. Bailing speed is not done, though.
It's going to take a long time to really connect with these Marines. Pretty good target firing so far. And he is able to back away off of creep, just giving Azure a lot of room to work with, but he still has to be very, very careful.
Yeah, that he does. The creep is now starting to spread a little bit. He's trying to focus on the base. Oh, the transfuse!
Just keeps that hatchery alive.
Oh my god. Just barely holds on, mate. I was so worried. At the same time, Oreo is getting ready for a bit of a run by. There are plenty of reinforcements here, though, so Oreo has to be careful. He can't just throw away these Lings. Oh god.
And so far he doesn't, but almost does.
Yeah, the reaction time, mate. He was so on it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, enough time has passed where Baneling's speed is done. He's going to have a much easier time defending his 4th base. Oh, the Lings still eventually get cleaned up, but you know, the 1-1 upgrades are finishing up. He's not too far behind his Terran opponent. He's even getting ready for a surround.
And the reinforcements are not quite here yet for Azure. He's going to have to pick up and get right on out of there. Does keep the majority of his forces alive.
Ooh. Yeah. That he does, but he did lose his Hellbat, so that does kind of hinder this force here on the right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, the rest of his army is pushing on towards the 5th base, and I don't know if there's enough here. There are a lot of Widow Mines. Oh god, oh god.
There are decent split from Oreo so far, and he's getting a lot of splits, but wait, what?
Oh, the manual detonation! Ay, 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 Oreo, please!
Oh, no.
Oh my god.
That might just about be it, or Azure has so much momentum on his hands right now. He's even sending another force towards the south. We'll get cleaned up because there are a couple of Banelings left there, but man, that was brutal. These Widow Mines are still gonna rearm right on top of these Banelings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been there as a Zerg player. That's why, personally, I have unbound the manual detonation. The Widow Mines are gonna reset. Oh.
And you do get a couple of connections. Azure will be cleaned out here, but he still has plenty of reinforcements he's waiting to send across the map. He's actually targeting the south, right? The southern bases right now.
Yeah, that he is. He's trying to go from one side of the map to the other. The Widow Mines will connect, but not the juiciest connections in the end. So nicely done there by Oreo, and it looks like he has made an extra wave of Lings. He can deal with this force. Oh.
Yeah, there's only one Widow Mine that's armed right now, and he's trying to bait Oreo into it, but yeah, there's really no reason for Oreo to go down that ramp right now.
Yeah, I'm just worried because Oreo, he's barely hanging on. He's hanging on by a thread. And the problem is that he doesn't have any creep threat here on the right-hand side. He doesn't have any creep threat on the left either. Like, again, he's really struggling to hold on to his bases. And I feel like Azure, he's just not letting the pressure up.
He absolutely isn't. This is signature Azure right now. He's not a player who wants to end everything in one massive time and push. He will slowly choke his opponents out with masterful multi-procs like this. As his bio gets cleaned up here towards the south, he already has another force up in the north.
Yeah, thankfully Oreo this time is ready, but again, the Widow Mines, oh god, a lot of them do get baited out though.
There's one left. No! Doesn't connect with the Banelings! But the rest of the Banelings detonate on lone individual Marines regardless. Azure should be able to take this base. Oreo's already sending a bunch of links north, though.
Yeah, he is. He's responding to this. Unfortunately, he does not have any Banelings ready, so this is going to be a very inefficient trade for Oreo. Regardless, it is enough to just barely hold on. Jesus, but again, Azure, he doesn't let up. He just keeps sending wave after wave across the map. Despite this, Oreo has been taking up. Hydrogen is done. Lurker Den is on the way. Hive is done, but he needs time. He needs time for his Lurkers. Once he gets them up and running, he's going to have a much easier time defending his bases.
And right now, lad, I'm not convinced Azure's gonna give him that time. Oreo can pretty much only defend one of his bases at a time, or one direction at a time, and Azure is just relentless, assaulting both sides at once.
Mate, this could be it. The base is gonna go down. There were only links here, no Banelings to defend, so Azure, he just traded so well. And there it is, the base does fall.
The base falls. That was one of the juiciest Widow Mine connections I think I've ever seen. Meanwhile, the bio is still alive here towards the north. Oreo is very quickly running out of money and very quickly running out of army.
Yeah, exactly. Despite taking up, it is not enough. GG gets called, and Azure takes game number 1.
Really taking it to the King of Brisbane right now. Wants to reclaim that throne.
He does, mate. He does. He wants to be the Kingslayer, mate. And Oreo, he was doing a really good job at like holding on for as long as he did. But again, like there was no backup creep spread. Like that manual detonation, as I see the chat catching up. Like, that was,
man, yeah,
that was rough, man. That was rough.
In my mind, I was imagining that a Widow Mine did connect with every single one of those Banelings because I just didn't want to believe that was a manual detonation. I was like, oh my god, Azure! He got one of the best Widow Mine shots in the world. But yeah, unfortunately, a bit of a misclick there.
Yeah.
By our blue Zerg player.
It happens, mate. It happens. It straight up does. So that's so unfortunate. Hopefully, Oreo can shake the nerves off. Again, like, Yeah, it was very rough hearing the news that he had to face Oreo in the first round, right? Like he's like, oh my god, what? Like really? Out of everyone? But yeah. Hopefully he can get back into the swing of things. Sure, he's down one game here, but he definitely has it in him to make the comeback happen.
Yeah, so we've seen multiple times against the very same opponent and very similar matches, I should say. I see this series going all the way to the ace match, as I think most people do.
Yeah, exactly. As we are getting set up and ready here. Ooh, yeah, we're just diving straight in, mate.
Indeed, we are. I'm just looking at Chase in the chat here. Surely he needs, surely Ultra's a way to go, right? And you know what? I would say yes, and that's why I don't play Zerg.
Exclamation mark Funada Chase in the chat, mate. Wait, Chase, hold on. Chase is in the chat.
He's on the bracket right now.
Mate.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see you on the bracket, mate. What's going on? Mate, Funada Chase in the chat.
Check. Let me just double check real quick what the close qualifiers are. Well then.
Wow.
All right, and well, exclamation mark Funara Chase as we continue our best of 3 series here on Outside LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have a blue Zerg player coming down from the land of Brisbane. He is going to be representing our very own CranKy Ducklings here, our #1 Australian Zerg player, arguably just straight up the #1 Australian Zerg player. He is Oreo.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, it is the player who wants to reclaim his throne here in the land of Brisbane, representing Team Opus V. It is Azure.
I'm loving how chat is taking a while to adjust to us here, Light.
What?
To the fact that, indeed, there are faces around. We're not, voice
right.
boxes.
Yes. So for the people who are just tuning in now, for the entire week we have been casting with cams for all the DreamHack qualifiers, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, North America, Latin America. For DreamHack this season, we decided to do something special and add these cams and, yeah, ideally, incorporate them into some of our other broadcasts as well. I think it's a nice touch, and it's another way for us to kind of utilize like our plushies, our ducks, our different outfits, things of that nature.
The multiple different ones, yeah.
Yes, we've seen the evolution of Yaku over the course of past couple of days, mate.
Or devolution, if you prefer.
Yeah, that works. That's probably a better word for it. Yeah. Oh god, just Yaku slowly degrading over time.
I'm getting worried because I'm looking at the amount of jackets I have left, and tomorrow might be something.
Oh yeah. I can't wait, mate.
Shout out to Kuro, who is helping us coordinate our wardrobes.
Meanwhile, ooh, interesting decision here. So we had some fairly standard openers. The big thing is that Oreo, he's delaying his third base and going for a very fast Roach Warren.
Very, very fast. And Azure, he skipped the Reaper, didn't he?
Oh my god, he did.
This is going to be very, very rough. The SCV should see that SO third base.
Yeah.
There's no link speed yet.
This is already a big tell. I mean, there's no link speed, period. So,
yeah.
Azure, he confirms that there is no third base. He knows that something is amiss. He's gonna try and scout and see what's going on. He's making a Widow Mine. Oh god. We'll see what he's gonna have to defend, mate.
The answer is not a lot, really.
There's no bunker.
Which is already on the way. There is no bunker. Tech Lab on the factory, he really needs to make a choice right now. Banshee or tank.
Yeah, like what's important is that this SCV is still alive, and he checked again, by the way. He like double checked the third, confirmed that it wasn't there. Finally, he runs into a Roach. But by chance, this happened to happen. He even sees the Ravager, and now he knows.
Whew, that could have been very disastrous for our Red Terran player. Thankfully, there is a little bit of time for him to get some bunkers up, get a couple of tanks, and what have you. But it really does need to make sure that his SCV pulling is as good as can be.
I mean, the thing is that, like, it was such a late response, right? Like, the bunker isn't done yet, and the roaches are here. Oh, he's focusing down the SCV.
And he will be able to get it. The other SCVs are repairing the Widow Mine, understandably. Right now, the bunker should not get up, but even if it does, is there going to be enough time for the bio to load in? I don't think so. The Overlord's not quite in position to provide high ground vision.
Yeah, exactly. The tank does push away the roaches. The roaches, they dealt a lot of economic damage. They killed a lot of these Marines, but he was unable to break the natural.
Yeah, unfortunate. He could have totally tried to take out that tank with the roaches that he had. I think it would have been a rough trade overall, but yeah, he made the safer call to just back away. And honestly, now he's on 3 bases. He has dealt a little bit of damage. He's forced Azure to take a bit more of a defensive stance, force that bunker out of him. So Oreo does have map control for the time being.
Yeah,
that opening.
I'm trying to figure out if it was worth it. Right, because he only killed a couple of SCVs and a couple of Marines. He did force a reaction, did force Azure to stay defensively at home, but now he's stuck with roaches. He's actually working on a lair. I'm very curious to see what this is going to be for. If he just doubles down on Roach Ravager, or if he takes more gases.
Well, doubling down on Roach Ravager isn't the worst unit composition in the world if you're planning to be aggressive and if you're planning on really taking the map control. I kind of want to see Mutus, if I'm being honest, but I just always want to see Mutus. So.
I kind of do as well, but we do see 2 Evo chambers, so he's going to be spending his gas on upgrades, not on that Spire, just waiting for that lair to finish up. Meanwhile, this drop is just trying to deal a little bit of damage, but again, there's no stim. You know, they're just 0-0 Marines. They're not going to find too much damage here, just clearing up whatever creep they can.
Yeah, getting set up for the eventual push out and the other drops that are coming in with stim.
Yeah, definitely. Drop does get pushed away. There we go. Upgrades are on the way. Roach speed is on the way as well. Oh boy. So again, when it comes to Roach play or Roach Ravager play, I mean, quite often we talk about how it doesn't scale well into late game. But again, that's regarding the late game. This still can work up to this big, like, second wave.
Absolutely can. And keep in mind, Roach Ravager doesn't scale well to the late game, so one of the neat little life hacks you can do is just make sure your Terran opponent never gets to that late game tech. Contain them as well as you can.
Exactly. It doesn't work well in the late game, but mate, just make sure there's no late game. That's all you got to do, mate.
Yeah. Forehead.
Forehead, mate. So Oreo, I'm sure he's gonna want to hit a 1-1 timing. 4th base is on the way. He's fully saturated on 3 bases. At some point, he's gonna stop drone production, make nothing but roaches, and we'll see what kind of setup Azure is going to have here. I mean, he does have 4 tanks. I don't know if I'm too fond of him pushing out, but he should be. I mean, there's no 3rd CC.
Well, he has been able to keep the creep fairly contained right now. It's all going to be about those tanks against Roach Ravager. If he can get them in position quick enough and siege them up, then he can really start applying a ton of pressure onto Oreo's bases. If not, then I just see Oreo throwing down some corrosive vials and taking the engagement. The boys have been pulled. Azure's all in.
This is a very interesting push by Azure. Again, this is a bit of an anti-timing when it comes to Combat Shield. Combat Shield is still on the way, but he doesn't care because he has the boys as his shield instead.
Or does he? Okay, they do back away for now. And they are drawing a little bit of fire away from the Ravagers. Corrosive Vials don't quite take out the tanks. In fact, oh my lord, that tank is still alive.
I know.
And it's in a very forward position.
Exactly. In the end, Oreo gives up this base, but you know what? That's okay, right? Azure is all in, and there's another 3rd base here over on the right-hand side anyway. Oreo, he needs to make whatever units he can. It's such a shame that he hasn't been able to kill any of the tanks yet.
And a benefit of pulling the boys, you can even go for some quick repairs if you want to. We'll see SCVs have gone down, so that's not really an option for Azure at the moment. The tank positioning is fan-freaking-tastic right now.
Oh my god, none of the tanks have died, and again, the SCVs are just repairing them.
It's actually like barely keeping some of these tanks alive for like 1 health after the corrosive vials land.
It really is. Meanwhile, oh my god, Oreo, he's losing so many roaches here, but we have 10 more on the way. Can he just barely hold on? In come the Liberators.
I think this might be enough for Azure. He is running out of bio, but reinforcements are starting to make their way forward, and it's not about the Marines right now. If you're Azure, it's all about the siege line. These Liberators, well, those Liberators, and these tanks.
Yeah, exactly. Nice bios, though. Unfortunately for Azure, both Liberators were actually sieged up on top of each other, so Oreo had the most juiciest bio connections there, the most efficient bios, so the Liberators did go down. One tank went down earlier as well, so there are only 4 remaining.
And they are in a pretty back position, and I'm liking this a lot for Oreo. He's producing a lot of roaches, but he can't really break into the siege line, so he's splitting up a couple of his forces and just going for a run-by.
Yeah, exactly. He's cutting off reinforcements. I love this. Marines are getting picked up left and right. Meanwhile, like, oh god, I feel like Azure's force is just getting weaker and weaker. Like, look at the army supply,
man. It absolutely is. Oreo is getting to the point where he can absolutely eclipse this army. He can afford the supply eventually to break this siege line, and he's going for it. I don't think he was at that point just yet, but he was able to thin out a little bit of the bio. The main concern, though, these 4 tanks. They're not in a very offensive position right now, but it is going to be very tough for Oreo to jump on top of them.
The problem is that you were talking about the buffer. Wait, there's no buffer. Like, there's barely any Marines left. Like, these tanks, sure, they're terrifying when there's a large force of like SCVs and Marines in front of them, but that's kind of gone, mate. Like, it feels like soon Oreo is going to clean this up.
Yeah, he's going to try to. Not a lot of anti-air here, so the Liberators can actually do quite a bit.
True. Yeah, very true. Force reposition Queen almost gets taken out. There we go. Azure's pushing into the natural base, but in comes Oreo.
Doing a complete surround on top of this Bioforce. Forces to pick up, and where's that buffer? As he was saying, more tanks do come in, so Oreo still needs to be very, very careful. This is not going to trade too inefficiently. Honestly, I feel like we're at a point where Oreo can start to afford taking a couple of risks. I mean, look at the water difference.
I mean, he's down 0-1 in this series. He doesn't want to throw anything away, so there we go. He just rushes on forward. He takes a lot of tank shots, but regardless, he will take out every single tank here.
And with that, take out all of Azure's offensive capabilities. He's trying to wrap around and go for these reinforcements. And Azure has basically nothing left beyond this force.
Exactly. GG gets cold, and Oreo ties up the series 1-1.
Whew, as we pretty much expected, I suppose, but I didn't think that an SCV pull 2 base all in would be what brought us to our ace match.
I was so surprised when that happened. Like, even Chad is remarking on it, like, yo, when you're up against Riches, 2 base all in? What? Okay, like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it did feel like it ran out of steam relatively quickly. Like, it took a long time for those siege tanks to really like leapfrog forward, and after taking out the 3rd base, we talked about it, didn't really matter too much. Oreo had another base to fall back on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but Azure just really didn't seem to want to play out a late game on Oxide. Despite the early roach maneuvers coming out from Oreo, he could definitely afford to take it to a bit of a later game, you know, macro up, get a 3rd base, and tech up if he so wanted to. But yeah, it's an interesting choice to say the least as we get to our ace match.
Yeah, here we go. We are diving straight into said ace match. Oh boy, and it's gonna be on Romanticide. I'm so nervous. What does Oreo have in store for us here? I doubt we're gonna see another early Roach Warren. I could be wrong.
Especially not on Romanticide.
Yeah.
Which is why we're gonna see a proxy hatch. No,
hey, we're gonna see a proxy racks, mate. Does he have it in him to do it?
He actually does. I honestly would not be surprised. Azure is definitely known to be a bit of a risk taker. It should not face him too much now that we're on the ace match. But speaking of the ace match, it is going to be here on Romanticide. LE, we're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of Brisbane. He is going to be representing our very own team, the CranKy Ducklings, as he makes his opponents go, uh-oh, he is Oreo.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Australian Terran player. He is red, representing Team Opus V. It is Azure. My oh my.
Interesting that you chose the red color.
Oh, I thought Oreo made the lobby mate. He sniped that blue mate. He sniped it.
True. And speaking of sniping, it's going for a very early pool.
Wow. Pool first here from Oreo. Bold move on Romanticide. I think what's important is that if you remember, last game, Azure didn't go for a Reaper Scout. I'm thinking he probably should here because I don't see an SV going across the map. But, yeah, we'll see what this leads to.
I kind of want it to be a Baneling bust, but he is getting his gas a little bit late, it seems. I don't see him committing too much into getting gas. Never mind, that's a Roach Warren.
Yeah, we see why. Like, this isn't straight into Link Speed or anything like that. We do have another fast Roach Warren play, so I was wrong. I was like, wow, we gonna see Roaches get a romanticize? That'd be crazy. And it looks like Oreo has lost his mind, mate. He's doing it.
He's been twisted, he's been dunked, and now this is the result.
It's time for him to twist and dunk his opponent, mate. To make his opponent go, uh-oh. Because, mate, this is Oreo, and the links have been scouted. Oh, yes, can it get into the main? Uh-oh, mate.
It's trying to. No. The early links is already quite a bit of a tell. Azure does not see the Roach Warren at all, but he should be setting up defensively back at home.
He should. I mean, regardless, he should, like, at least prepare for those early lings. As you said, he knows it's a pull first, but he doesn't know about the roaches, right? It could just be a pull first. You know, there's nothing too crazy about that. Thankfully, the SV stays alive, and it will be outside the natural base of Oreo to scout whatever comes his way. And
He's
Oreo,
so surprised when he sees another roach here.
Mate, the mind games. He's joining up. Oreo's joining up. He only made 2 roaches.
Mate. Azure is starting to make its way forward, and now this SCV is ringing so many alarm bells in Azure's head right now. I love this idea. We thought that Oreo went mad and was going to go for another early roach push on Romanticide, the map that snakes around and has such a good defensive setup. But it turns out we were the ones who have lost our minds.
Azure's panicking. He's getting a second bunker. Like, Azure is overreacting hard to this. And what is there? It's only 2 roaches.
I have such a smile on my face right now.
Yo, I love it.
He's been learning from me, Micah.
He has been. Oh my god. So with this, Oreo, he's expanding, he's taking another base, he's droning up. I was afraid that Azure would see those drones and he would piece it together, right? Like, hold on. If roaches are coming, you shouldn't be making drones. That's weird. Maybe he thought that Oreo was intentionally pulling drones from his main to his natural to make it look like he was droning up. You know, maybe like he outbrained himself there, and yeah, as a result, like this is a great start from Oreo.
Absolutely. He has so much freedom to just drone up to his heart's content. And if I know Oreo, that is exactly his MO. He wants to get to that comfortable 60 drones as he goes into mid game, and then just tech up as greedily as he can get away with. Yeah, exactly. Of course, he still has to respect Azure, right? Azure is still making an army, so he can't be too greedy, especially because we do see that it was a 1-1-1 opener, and Azure is going for a fusion core behind this. Whoa! So it's gonna be Rage Lips, right?
This is worrisome, mate. This is so worrisome because the Overlord just got taken out. Sure, Oreo, he's scouting with Lings, right? He's checking a third base. He's checking to see if like Hellions move out, but he doesn't know about the fusion core. He's not going to find out. Like, he doesn't have pneumatized carapace. He doesn't have Overlord speed. Instead, like, he's covering his bases. He's throwing down spores. Yeah, but a spore is really going to be enough against BCs. He thankfully is continuing to produce queens, but perhaps not at the rate that he really needs. Yeah, he's like because he doesn't know what the opener is. It could be Banshees, it could be a BC. That's why he threw down the spores to be safe. He does have a decent amount of queens, but again, I don't think he's expecting BCs, and they're not really in position to deal with one. It's going to be all about his reaction time to pull back and defend against the BC. More importantly, to also have an army in place to defend against the Hellions. Yeah, or at least really, or at least pull the drones early, very early. It's a bit of an army to chase away these Hellions. 2 of them already get taken out. 1 of them already gets taken out. It's
Thought for sure the other one was gonna go down.
Oh god, exactly. Jesus, so low. Oh my god, how much? Oh, 4 HP, mate.
Mate, what? Literally one more hit from anything. Even if a drone attacked it, it would have gone down.
It would have. Meanwhile, Oreo is taking more bases. 1-1 is on the way, or his Evo Chambers are on the way, I should say. He did rush out that lair for that bailing speed. But again, the BC, there we go, finally reveals itself and it teleports across the map.
These queens from Oreo are going to have a lot of ground to cover in order to meet that BC. Thankfully for Oreo, Azure did teleport the BC directly into the main base, so it's not going to be easy for him to get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Start moving now.
Unfortunately, there's no creep connecting the bases, so it takes a long time for these queens to catch up, and it looks like the BC will escape into the dead space.
Just like so. Even clears up a couple of overlords.
Yeah.
For its troubles.
He could even hit the 4th, mate, and like bounce back and forth, like, oh god. We just see Oreo, his response is to throw down, oh, he threw down a Spire, but he canceled it. Oh my god.
Huh. He canceled it after he saw the BC?
Well, he scouted with his Overseer, and I think he confirmed that there was a reactor on the starport, so that means that there is no more BC production.
Yeah, it is just going to be the single harassing BC, and what Oreo needs right now is not Corruptors and Mutas. It is as much Lingbane as he can produce to really deflect Azure's eventual push. This is a good surround.
Yeah, a lot of Marines go down before Combat Shields finishes. That was honestly an amazing catch.
Yeah, just weakening the forces of Azure as much as he can. So when the fight happens, it's just that much more in Oreo's favor.
Oh boy, exactly. Meanwhile, the BC is slowly creeping back into the main base. He's going to confirm the hatchery with this. He's going to confirm, yeah, I'm up against Lingbane. Big surprise. Even scans the natural, just in case there was a Spire. Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm taking as much precautions as he can right now, as that spawning pool is getting dangerously low. There is a teleport available on this BC.
Oh my god, is Azure? Is he going to risk it? He's going to
transfuse!
Oh my god.
Everything stays alive from after all that. Jeez.
Exactly. I kind of wanted Oreo to like leave the spawning pool a little bit lower on purpose because he's making a second one, right? Like just to bait the BC to stay longer, just to confirm the kill. But in the end, the BC did escape, and now Azure, he's getting set up for his multi-prong drops. But this time, Oreo has a lot of creep spread out covering his bases.
And he really does. It's still a lot of ground to cover on Romantis' side, going back and forth these bases from the multi-prong attacks, but as you said, because of the creep spread and because of how much vision Oreo has of them, he's got plenty of time to react, and the Lingbane force is going to have a lot less time making their way.
Definitely. Meanwhile, oh my god, 20 SCVs! We only saw the aftermath, we didn't see the event itself, but the entire mineral line went down for Azure.
And Azure is looking to reciprocate the favor, but it is not going his way at all right now.
Yeah, exactly. I apologize. Yeah, like I was focusing on the drops because again, Azure, he's being so aggressive across the map, but as all that was happening, Oreo did go for that run by. More importantly, I thought Oreo's 5th base was gonna go down, but it just barely stays alive.
Manuel? I thought that's what he was going for when he split off his base.
I thought so as well. Meanwhile, these Widow Mines are going to go off once again. The drops are still threatening these bases, but there are plenty of links to deal with them. Drops not finding any damage whatsoever. Oh my god.
Oh, that's a lot of damage, though. The majority of the banelings do get taken out. Thankfully for Oreo, he does send the majority of his forces down and is preventing Azure from getting any damage done, but that was not an efficient trade, to say the least.
Not at all, and Azure is getting ready for some more multi-prong. He wants his base, by the way. Like, he's trying so hard.
It's so low, yeah.
Oh my god, at the same time, we just see another double drop here towards the north. There are only a handful of links, no bailings to defend.
Not anymore anyway, and the links do get taken out. That was a kill on that Spore Crawler, not a cancel, so the links do get forward and draw the fire away from the hatchery. He's targeting it down, and he will get it. Nicely done. Even keeps more than half of his bio alive.
Exactly. Meanwhile, this base here is still under threat as well, so there could be a world where surely Azure could take out another base.
Did his BC get taken out earlier on? No, it's still alive. I'm just saying, there's not a lot of anti-air available for Oreo right now. If he's stuck down into that vulnerable... there it is! Oh, I love it when the players listen to our advice.
Oh, no, he's gonna get it! The base, there's no message for transfuse!
There's so much transfuse! And it will go down. Look at Oreo's income plummet.
Oh my god.
That was his freshest base.
He just can't catch up. Aye. Both of his freshest bases have gone down. Azure is getting ready to push out through the center of the map. There is a lot of Ling Bane though. Again, Oreo is looking to try and meet the army. Oh my god.
Yeah,
the Widow Mines.
Not just yet. The Widow Mines don't get the best connections. Very important split off there for Oreo.
Yeah.
Drop towards the get dealt with.
Exactly, it did finally get dealt with. Meanwhile, there is still a drop here towards the south, but there are plenty of queens to help deal with it. Now, Oreo can focus his entirety of his attention on this army, and he goes for the ram. Oh, there's no splits!
Oh, no splits. There's a hot pickup towards the end, so some of the bio stays alive. Look at these Widow Mines!
Mate, look at the Widow Mines! And now they're all gone. There's no more Widow Mines left. Everything got taken out by the Ling Bane. Oreo, he smells blood. He's continuing to dive forward. He has to be careful not to overextend. Again, there is a planetary here. There are plenty of reinforcements, and he does back off.
Yeah, he really needs to when he's this far off a creep and there's that many reinforcements.
Exactly. Also, fun fact, those two roaches are the same roaches from the start of the game. Oh no, the roaches! Oh no!
We're the same roaches.
There's only one.
There's a lot. Yeah, I gotta be honest, there was a lot of Zerg on that screen, but my eyes were focusing entirely on that one roach.
His brother died. They were the eldest of all the Lings of all the Zerg here.
His Oreo got taken out.
Exactly. F's in the chat. Meanwhile, Oreo has finally reestablished both of these bases. He has them back up and running. Creep spread is continuing. More importantly, Hive is done. 3-3 is on the way. Ultra Cavern is about to finish up. You may have noticed, he has been neglecting his anti-air, but that was all to rush out these Ultras. It does mean that the drops dealt a surprising amount of damage. He didn't have any anti-air like Hydras or Mutas to deal with them, but now in come the Ultras, and that is the win condition for Oreo.
Really is. He's got to survive till then, though. Azure, despite the engagement's not really going his way, he has been untouched economically ever since that initial run by. Some pretty good connections, but some unfortunate friendly fire as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Azure has a lot of production and a lot of income.
That he does, but at the same time, this base, it keeps being hit time and time again. Azure, he still only has 4 bases. He desperately needs to expand and take a 5th at some point.
Where is that orbital going?
Back home, man. I think it's misrallied. No!
Oh, no. I feel that.
Yeah, he has to float all the way home. That's so much lost mining there. Meanwhile, we do still have more drops here in the natural base, but this shouldn't do. Oh my god, is he gonna get the Bailey Nest? Oh no. Oh god.
He should be able to get it just in time. Ultras are good and they provide quite a lot of AoE, but they are nowhere near as efficient as Banelings can be.
Exactly. Speaking of Banelings, more of them get picked off. Bailey Nest is on the way, but it's not ready yet. More Widow Mines are going to be going off. Jesus Christ.
I guess a little bit of consolation here for Oreo is those Widow Mines do get a little bit of friendly fire, but I guess it really doesn't matter much when your own Lings and your own Banelings are going down.
Exactly, and Oreo, he's diving in once again. Oh god, he has to be so careful. There are so many Banelings set up. Sorry, Widow Mines set up defensively, but a lot of them get taken out.
I got a lot of deja vu for ANZ champs. I swear I saw that exact push into that exact base from Oreo against Azure with Ultra Ling Bane.
Fun fact, in ANZ Champs, Game 1 was on 2,000 atmospheres, and Game 1 is the one that Azure won in that series as well, so... Oh, God.
Well, time is a player from China, and it's also a flat circle.
It is. He is. Cap, what? Meanwhile, Azure is pushing on forward. Finally, we do have a lot of Marauders to deal with those Ultras. Plenty of Liberators as well. But I was going to say this again. Oreo has had 3-3 for quite some time. +3 only just now starts for Azure. He still does not have +3 armor.
Yeah, these trades are not going to go Azure's favor unless he can really set up and force Oreo to push into him, which he's actually doing a very good job of right now, just from these sheer drops alone.
Yeah, exactly. Like the creep spread was pretty decent here towards the south, but Oreo, mate, you got to spread your creep here towards the north. Like he just keeps getting caught off guard by these drops. Oh my god. Oh my god.
They're to do so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Oreo was in such a stable position earlier on economically, and now it is gone.
It's gone, mate. Like 18 workers go down. The drop is here once again to deny that base. There's so much buyer here. Is there enough on the ground for Oreo to break through?
I highly doubt it. Very good splits coming out from the side of Azure. The concussive shells helping out a ton against the Bailings as well. He may have just enough to break through to Bio, but is there anything left for Azure?
That's the question. The Ultras break through. Azure is holding here at his main base, but he gives up the natural. Everything is going down, and Oreo, he breaks through into the main.
Mate, he gets right on top of the production. Azure doing such a good job of making use of SimCity, but even that is not quite going to be enough against these 3-3 Ultras with Kindness plating.
Yeah, exactly. These 2-2 Marauders are just not cutting it here for Azure. The upgrade's really hurting him towards the end. And mate, the Link Flood doesn't stop. I think Oreo has done it.
He just about has. Such a close game. Honestly, this does come down a lot to the upgrades. Azure absolutely had the units he needed. He absolutely had them in the as good as a position as he could have gotten them. But Oreo, his units are just cut from a different cloth. GG is called. Oreo advances. Oh, my phone is... you can... I'm liking this a lot as well. You can see when the things are not going well. When... I like this a lot. You can see me like fiddle with my phone when it's still connected to my Bluetooth earbuds.
Wow, just GG, well played. Congratulations, Oreo. It was so unfortunate that he had to face one of the best Terrans in the region in round 1 of the qualifier, but Oreo once again holds on to that title, to his throne as the best in Brisbane, mate.
That he does, but Azure made him work for it. Without a doubt. I'm just replaying that final engagement in my head like multiple different times. If only they were even on upgrades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Oreo just messaged me. He's like, what? How did I win that?
3-3 versus 2-2, mate.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Sometimes it's all it takes.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, Oreo's like, oh my god, like those drops were doing just so much to me. Like, I don't know how I survived. And thankfully, Oreo, he never gave up, right? Like, he was tenacious, to say the least. I should also probably update. Sorry, I haven't been keeping up with the scores on the screen right now. There we go. I even messed it up there. Oreo does take down his opponent. And let's have a look at the bracket, mate. Oh my god, just Jesus.
Yeah, again, such an unfortunate turn of events here for Azure. At the very least, there will be another qualifier happening on... No, just tomorrow, actually.